The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Holiday weekend home and home starts tonight in downtown Dallas, Texas, and inside the American Airlines Center, where the Dallas Stars welcome the St. Louis Blues. 24 hours from now, the Stars will be in St. Louis, so it's a big weekend set for these two Western Conference rivals. Good evening. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving along with Darryl Ray. I'm Ralph Strangis, and so we are now game 21 tonight of 82 for the Dallas Stars. Gives us a chance to pause, reflect, look back, and say, what do we like about the first quarter of the season for the Stars?
Well, it has a could be better, could be worse element to the opening 20 games so far this season. They sit 10th in the West amongst 15 teams, 11-8-1. It feels like they've actually been better than that. The goals for and goals against almost identical. The power play and penalty killing much better here at home than it has been on the road so far this season, so very 500-ish. Top players in the opening quarter, Kari Lettinen, the stats are misleading. He's been better than the numbers reflect. He's healthy, and he's been extremely consistent when he's been in the pipes for the Stars. For Brad Richards, the stats are in fact not misleading. He's been outstanding, leads the team in every offensive category. This has been the best start of his career as a Dallas Star or as a Tampa Bay Lightning. He's been fabulous. So those two guys have done their job, but it's pretty obvious at the current success rate, this isn't going to be a playoff team if they continue on in the next three quarters the way they have in the first.
Meanwhile, for the St. Louis Blues, they started off hot, but Razor, I guess you could mark their first quarter with inconsistent.
Right. I mean, they're a team that doesn't score all that much. At least they haven't yet, and they're a little banged up. So their success is predicated on defending. And when they defend, they usually win. And they defend well as a group and in goal. But yeah, it's been a little up and down as far as they're concerned. They hit a rut for a while. They've gone back on the winning ways. The last three games, they've won 3 in a row, headed into this one. Halak's played 2 of those. He's been phenomenal. He's their MVP of the first quarter. 10-4-2 overall. 3 shutouts in his first 9 appearances with his new club. Of course, they picked him up from Montreal in a trade. He was fabulous for the Canadiens in the postseason last year. He's not the most exotic netminder. You know, he stands in there and blocks things, but very, very effective. And obviously, they already believe immensely in their new number 1. Stars have to make sure he doesn't end up being the first star of this one here tonight.
You know who they'd like to see as star number 1 when the game is over is this guy, the real deal. What's his favorite building? Right here, the American Airlines Center. We'll talk more about him when we come back. 2nd and 4 for the Stars and the Blues. Dallas won October 16th, the 3-2 shootout game here. Welcome back, Ralph Strangis, Darryl Ray, and we're going to go to our Jaguar Performance Spotlight tonight and put the real deal, James Neal, right inside of it.
And his production could be viewed as being lockstep with the Stars' success, both home and road. 3 times as many goals and points here at home in just 2 more games played. So he's been very productive here in this building. The thing I've noticed this season, maybe more than previous years, is he showcased his ability to be a playmaker. You know, he's got more assists than he does goals. He can score as well, though, especially when he gets to the net, whether he's standing there or cruising in there. When he goes to the opposition's net, he seems to get rewarded. He could shoot a bit more. When you shoot, good things happen. He's on a 7-game home point streak.
Dallas Stars are 3-1-1 in their last 5 games. They want to keep it rolling tonight against the Blues. We'll drop the puck next. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Dr. Pepper, there's nothing like a pepper. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Stars, Blues, tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Dallas Stars and the St. Louis Blues. Brad Richards, top 5 in NHL scoring, leads Dallas with 26 points this season. Eriksson second, Neal third. That's Dallas's top line, 1, 2, 3 in scoring. Carlos Straston's Matt Niskanen on the back end. St. Louis Blues firing it in. Trangelo put it into the corner. It's over B.J. Crombeen's stick. Crombeen puts it back of the net. McClement goes to the front. And Richards pursuing Brad Winchester. Around the boards and a blind pass almost connecting with Neal. Halak out to play it. Neal in there to finish the hit. And it's pumped out of there.
Mark Crawford starting his big line at the beginning of the game. Get him on the ice as much as humanly possible. And the matchup on the other side, McClement and 2 former Stars on the wings, and Crombeen and Winchester. Here at home for Crawford, forechecking first and foremost. Get after the St. Louis Blues, force them to make mistakes close to their net. He gets last change, so we'll see how often he can get the top line or lines against the third pair on defense or third and fourth lines.
Stars are 7-3-1 at home. Blues under 500, 4-5-2 on the road. Jamie Benn, Adam Burish, and Steve Ott out there, and Andy McDonald now up toward Boyes at center ice. Donald, Backus, and Boyes. It's a dangerous combination. Stars turn it over at the line. Barrett Jackman hits the line, shot it, pad save, Kari Lettman.
Good tight gap that time by Jackman, the defenseman for St. Louis. It'll be fun. I'd like this matchup here tonight to watch Jamie Benn go straight up against Backus. 2 young, big, power center icemen, kind of converted from winger to center ice.
Matt D'Agostini is back there trying to dig it out. Daly's got it all wrapped up. Trick Berglund in there too. So's Ribeiro. Finally, it's work to the boards. Eric Johnson held it. Stars flip it over him, and Siegel from center ice will shoot it in. We're seeing Siegel again, Razor, with Ribeiro and Brendan Morrow.
Well, Stars have a little bit of an injury issue. Bart's not in the game tonight. He got injured in Ottawa. Fistrick's gone on IR. 2 big physical players out of the lineup for Dallas. And Siegel's had some measure of success on the right side last year and this year with Ribeiro and Brendan Morrow.
Alex Steed clawing his way to the Dallas bench, but he will go no further. And as St. Louis and Dallas both change, here's the former Blue Jeff Woywitka to center ice. Slammed by Jansen. Speaking of physical, he got it in. Koliakovo almost burst it up back there. Dallas working diligently to get it back. Sotheby did. With Tom Wandel turning tightly on Sobotka. Now centered it. Peterson all locked up. Nikitin, number 64. I promise, that's his name. And he'll heave it into Dallas ice. Jansen pestering Niskanen. Back of the net, that's Chris Porter. Out to the line for Brewer. And that one climbs the glass and winds up in the seats.
So far, this has been what you'd call a territorial start to the game. There's Davis Payne, smart, organized, demanding of the systems and expectations on his side. Like to use their size to advantage. They have a real good transition game when they're on, and like to go, go, go. He was interesting early in the year when they were on a run and Halak was getting all the accolades. He sort of bristled at the suggestion that it was all goaltending. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, big part of it.
But they got a lot of guys that defend as a group, and it's why they're one of the better defending teams in the league.
And they're defending the Richards line by keeping the puck in the Dallas zone. However, now Daly sprints out with it. Pass ahead to center ice. Burish fires it in, so now Neal joins Richards and Eriksson in the zone. Richards taps it to Neal. Has a step, and he can't get there. Trangelo made the play. Crombeen to the Dallas line, and the Blues will change. Here's Woywitka making the turn again. Pestered by Backus, knocked over, and that's a penalty coming up to St. Louis.
Well, it looked like an iffy play initially by Woywitka, and it turns out to be a power play opportunity for Dallas. Pulls it on the backhand, walking right into the teeth, really, of their forecheck. Boys picked it up. Backus goes off for the trip. Wasn't much of a trip, I'll tell you that. Good opportunity for Dallas's smoking hot home power play to get going.
That's right. They somehow forget to bring it with them on the road, but they are 22.6% in this building, and they're 7 for their last 20 over their last 4 home games.
You know, as much as we and everybody else dwells on the fact they've been putrid on the road with this, there are only 3 teams that have scored more home power play goals overall than this team because of the home success rate.
Morrow stick lifted, or they had another one, and Ribeiro's high tip went just wide. Robida kept it in at the line. Ribeiro to Robida, and then it is cranked down. Brewer.
He's good at that. Big Eric Brewer, their captain. If there is a rebound in front of the net, with that reach and his smarts, he usually hoovers them up.
Richards finds Ben, moving into the zone. Blues penalty kill, by the way, tied for 11th. Richards shot. Oh, Ribeiro tipped that just wide.
It's a good little drive-by, especially on the blocker side of Halak like that. He's a magnificent netminder, but in his style from time to time, where he just kind of drops, he'll leave his stick in that area, and sometimes it pulls his blocker out of position, and there's a big hole on the blocker side.
Louis Eriksson going in after the puck, and Barrett Jackman. Crombie tipped it over, and here comes McDonald, a 3-on-2 into the Dallas zone. Short-handed, drops it off. Pietrangelo, a shot, save, Lettinen rebound, score! McDonald late to the party, and Dallas gives up a shorty. 5:07 into the game.
Well, it's bad enough that you get caught with numbers, and then it's how you recover from that. There's the little chip. All 3 forwards are caught. Here they come 3-on-2. Handled not bad. Pietrangelo's the defenseman. Initial save is made. Terrible coverage in front of the net. You can't come back watching. You got to come back and cover people, and they didn't. James Neal was the closest guy to McDonald, who got a freebie. They always say the braver the bird, the fatter the cat.
That is the 3rd shorthanded goal this season scored by the Blues, and the 3rd allowed by the Dallas Stars. And that'll quiet things here. A very nice crowd tonight here at American Airlines Center. And a half a minute to get it back here on the power play. Eriksson giving it to Ott, cutting toward the net. Ott trying to fight through the check. Can't do it. Daly for James Neal. Shooting. Pops over to Ott. Oh, across the ice, and now Daly on top. Rister doesn't get through. It's caught McClement's feet. Neal rescues. Wojciechowski will hold it at the line and give it to Daly. Will smack one. Tip, save Halak. Rebound. Louis Eriksson scrambling to get there. Wojciechowski from the line, drilling it. Brewer swept that away. Penalty is over. Blues are back to full strength, and Dallas on that one they gave up a shorthanded goal.
Well, Crawford left that same trio on the ice up front with the idea, I guess, that maybe they could get it back immediately.
Now it's in the Dallas zone, a scrum for the puck, and Backus couldn't keep it away from Trevor Daly. So they'll be locking up Koliakovo. Wandell couldn't get past Berglund at the line. And here's Wojciechowski. Mentioned the injury to Fistrick, so Wojciechowski draws in. He's not played a ton this year. D'Agostini missed the hit on Niskanen. Wojciechowski's pass ahead. Wandell had it chopped away. Berglund spun around.
Turning the puck over in neutral ice here. It's been a real strong 5-man posture by St. Louis in that area. And you're feeding the beast if you keep giving them the puck there.
Red Boys banks it to Andy McDonald. McDonald is their leading scorer, but just 15 points coming into the game tonight.
But man, has he been hot lately.
Yeah.
That's his 5th goal in the last 7 games. 9th point.
Morrow pushed it to Grossman. Siegel goes to the front of the net. Robida shot it, and Morrow tipped it wide.
Good play. That's worked before.
Yes.
Robida from that spot to Morrow right there.
I remember.
They should go back to that more often.
That was a biggie. Johnson backing off at center ice. Robitaille to Grossman. 8 minutes gone in the first period. Shots are 3-2 St. Louis, and the Blues have a shorthanded goal. Andy McDonald's 7th of the season. Pietrangelo and Jackman. Robitaille. One extra move at the line puts Dallas offside. Talked about it. Told you who scored it. We're going to show it to you. Here comes McDonald for a 1-0 St. Louis lead.
Brendan Morrow moved ahead of Joe Nieuwendyk and into sole possession of 4th all-time on the franchise's game-winning goal list with the winning tally in Ottawa the other night. A true game winner, and he says the best kind. Long way back in Madonna, by the way. Here's the chance just a moment ago. It was one of his game winners that didn't count on that list. One we were referencing earlier, the game against San Jose here back in 08 in the playoffs. That was pretty well defended by Jackman in front of the net, but it was the same combination from that same board at that same end.
But the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final in 2008. They would bow out to the Detroit Red Wings. Trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time since then. Steve Ott. Poke checked away. Agostini will shoot it into Dallas ice. Steen drifts to the front of the goal. Shot. McKeedon put that off a body and into the corner. Steen couldn't creep out against Ben. Daly harassed by Steen and Berglund.
Yeah, good move to get away from that pressure and then easy out.
Pass from Wojciech to Burish. Takes the hit in front of the St. Louis bench. And Ott chasing Berglund. Agostini could be icing. It is as Niskanen gets there.
This game is, and it's going to be this way, I think, for 2 straight nights, what they call North hockey. There's not a lot of east-west or move the puck from board to board at 85 feet. Everything's chip and go, throw it in behind, create foot races. A guy like Louis Eriksson should excel in this style at both ends of the ring. Terrific at tracking people down in his own zone and legging people out using that reach in the attacking end.
Louis' 5-game assist streak ended in Ottawa. Hasn't had a goal in 8 games. Now he'll take the pass from Richards. Richards shooting. Save Halak, or it was blocked in front. Koliakovo got it away. Porter from center. Dealing it in. Niskanen beat him to the puck. Graston's for Neal, and he'll deflect the pass boys to center. Blues are 12-5-3. They come in with 27 points, and they turn it over here to Neal. Across the ice, Richards to Eriksson. A little too deep. Eriksson to Richards. And he scooped that one up a little too high. 2 just abouts in the St. Louis zone. Boys, Backes and McDonald. Into the Dallas zone. Pietrangelo from the line. Back of the net for Boys. Reversing, and then Backes was turned the wrong way, allowing Neal a chance to clear, but he doesn't get it out. Now Eriksson will.
Stars having a tough time getting this change in. Now they do.
Grossman to Robitaille, and the Ribeiro line up front. Robitaille pitching it in. More. A lean on Johnson back there, who had position on him. Jackman pushing the puck forward. McClement to Winchester at the Dallas line. And McClement trying to center it. Crombie's loosed in front, but the puck never gets there. Clement once more dished it into the corner. Robitaille taking Winchester's hit. Wojciech moved it to Ribeiro, but the Blues swarm in the Dallas zone.
Yeah, they're running a hard forecheck here, and they're pinching on all these rims around the boards by Dallas, trying to get away from the pressure. The defensemen are coming down, shrinking the rink, if you will, and giving the Stars fits.
Now the Blues back out for a change, and Ribeiro glides through center ice. Dallas will change up too. Peterson going in there with Jackman. He's got himself back into the lineup after missing 11 games. They almost turn it over at the line to Wandell, but he'll take it away from Jansen. Daly for Peterson. Lost the puck. Here's Porter. Scooped it deep. Daly sidestepped the hit. And here come the Stars. Peterson, Sotheby, and Wandell. They'll whip it up the boards. Porter. And it's worked deep by Sabatka. Sotheby through Wandell's skates, and so we will have another whistle here, but stay here because it's an icing call against Dallas. Hungry for hockey? Get all-you-can-eat terrace seats throughout December for only $35. Stars take on the Caps, the Sharks, the Red Wings, Canadians, Canucks, and more. You can get free hot dogs, soda, nachos, peanuts, and popcorn. 214-GO-STARS or visit DallasStars.com today. Blues win the drop. Berglund out to Brewer. Steen shot it. Loose in front. Lettman was screened. Steen. Wandell working him over. Steen cutting. Shooting wide.
This is where an icing can be rather penal. Wandell has not been very good on faceoffs. He got beat immediately on this one, and they've been running around since.
Objective here is to get it out. Grossman can't do it. Berglund. D'Agostini in the corner. Berglund back of the net. A lot of the player in the first period has been to our right in the Dallas zone.
Well, because the Blues have played with a real aggressive forecheck here and dared Dallas to move clean through them, and they haven't been able to do it.
There's Berglund. Back out to Brewer. Shot it. Blocked it. Hit D'Agostini. And Peterson fell. Can't get it out. Trangelo knocked it deep. Grossman lost his stick. Wojciechowski needling it up the boards. Peterson tugged at, got it out, but no further, and the Blues will come right back in. Shot from Berglund and a save, Kari Lettinen.
They got to stop turning pucks over on their side of center ice, or this is not going to turn out very well.
Neal couldn't move it out. Boys, Backus, it got through save, rebound, and McDonald missed it at that time.
Boy, their weak side guy away from the puck is traipsing to that open area, and he's been uncovered multiple times.
Finally, the Stars are in St. Louis ice. Neal was pursuing Johnson, the big guy got it ahead. McDonald along the wall for Boys. Left it back of the net for Backus. Richards stepped in and wasn't buying what Boys was trying to sell. He'll clear.
I'll cut the Stars a little slack from that full day of travel, and there's some weariness and some lassitude in their game, but they got to be better than this.
Less than 6 to play in the first period. It's St. Louis 1 and Dallas nothing.
I think the core of this young St. Louis Blues team is this big, mobile, blue-chip defense core. A lot of guys who were picked up in the top 20 of the NHL entry draft, not all by the Blues. Some of them have been acquired, but you know, Brewer was originally an Islander, then an Edmonton Oiler, and now here. But Jackman, Johnson, Pietrangelo, Poliakovo was a great pickup from the Toronto Maple Leafs in a trade. You know, that's sort of the rhythm of their team back there. And not only are they talented and mobile, but they're big. This is a big crew that can move the puck back there. They seem to have an abundance of that right now, especially those two young ones. And that's without Polak even in their lineup. They've got an injury on defense. There's big Eric Brewer. This is the size difference. I mean, on average, that D-core is 6'2", 215. So they give away 2 inches and 10 pounds.
And now it is Brewer. Got there by way of the Pronger trade way back when. Niskanen. They pounce once more. Winchester back of the net. McClement threw it in front, and Winchester couldn't redirect it. Jackman putting it deep. And again, neither the Blues are owning it in the Dallas zone, or the Stars are unable to get it out.
Well, you can see this time the Stars bring 2 forwards low to help out the D to at least get it out of there.
Strastens jumps up for a shot and a pad save. Halak. Wojciechowski took a hit but rammed it in. Ribeiro pursuing Johnson. He's the #1 overall pick in the 06 draft. And Roman and Wojciechowski. after Jackman will unleash it up the far side. Directs it into the zone. Halak hasn't had a ton to worry about. Burish whipped it across the boards. Boys plays it forward. McDonald to Backus. Here come the Blues. Backus off the mark. And Koliakovo couldn't hold his own. Nikitin, Koliakovo, and McDonald tips it in for the change.
Yep, get it deep. One guy in, stays late in the shift. They get most of their change in. Force Dallas to at least set up, not give them a free out. In they come again. Have a look and dare them to come through the St. Louis forecheck one more time.
Robida, good pass ahead to Neal. Has a step. Can he get it off? No, he's just poking at it. Now in front toward Eriksson, and that pass was blocked.
Couldn't do it quite quick enough.
Steen into the Dallas zone. He lost Scrastons. The pass is off Brewer, and it's tipped by Richards ahead to Neal. 3 Blues back. Richards curling away from D'Agostini. Drew a lot of attention. Scrastons peeled down there from the blue line. And Neal tried to work it back to Daly, but it's Steen carrying it into Dallas ice. Blues off the change. There's Jansen. Scrastons knocked him over. Koliakovo will ram it in again. And Ben will give it to Scrastons. Bears come in tonight 10th in the Western Conference. Only 4 points out of first place in the Pacific Division. It is packed so tightly. These games so huge even early in the year. Ribeiro tried to softly toss that one in front, and it's intercepted.
They're just feasting on turnovers, and Dallas seems like they'd like to feed that here in the first period tonight. Big hit in behind the net.
Grossman.
They have been chasing this.
Grossman on Porter, and then this time Grossman just muscled him. Jansen came in to hit Grossman. Morrow finds his center iceman at the St. Louis line. 5 Blues back. Stars are changing, and they got one through on Halak.
Little button hook, and Morrow went straight to the front of the net. That was more awkward than it probably needed to be for St. Louis.
Burish has Jackman pinned. Morrow tried to dig it out. Creeps to the line. Daly backhanding it deep. Jackman's outlet. Slowly back into the Stars zone. No icing here, and the Blues change up. Daly will pump this one all the way down. Dallas will do likewise.
It's a battle of long passes right now.
Yeah.
Send it to center and chip it in.
Keaton threw it right to Richards. Popped it in. It gets across. Neal holding it. Koliakovo went down. He could never get that pass over to a wide open Eriksson. And here come the Blues. Backus. Robida played it well. Neal just ran right over Pietrangelo.
That's one way to make their pinching D think twice.
Robida hoists it up. He'll go after it. Occupy 3 Blues as the Stars will change. And so rolls on edge all the way into the Dallas zone. Takari. Final minute of period 1. 1-0 Blues. And out like Berglund.
That's what they could do a little more of. Some foot speed out of their own zone to break this forecheck and defensive posture the Blues have had.
Burish got all twisted up. Steen hands it over. Eric Johnson, long pass, a little too far for D'Agostini, or he was in the clear. Half a minute left in the period. Berglund to the line. His wrister off Daly's back. Will go just to the St. Louis blue line, and then get the final change for the period. So Butka shot it in. McClement rammed Robida, centered it in front. Morrow whipped it to the boards. For all the time they spent in their own zone, they're probably lucky it's only 1-0.
Well, they're not going to go quietly. There's the man, Andy McDonald, who scored the only goal of the opening period. I'm going to chalk this one up to a full day of turkey and couch for the Dallas Stars. We'll find out if I'm right in the next 40 minutes.
So it's a true home and home. Tonight, St. Louis is in Dallas to play the Stars. Tomorrow night, the Stars are in the Gateway City to play the Blues. In the first period, shorthanded goal by Andy McDonald is all we got. 1-0 St. Louis.
The goal scorers so far, Andy McDonald, he's been doing a lot of that lately, including here tonight. Last 8 games, those numbers we told you about. That line in particular, I know that one was when he was killing a penalty, but Backus Boyes, who's refound his offensive flair, and then Andy McDonald, who does everything with speed. Been a good trio for Davis Payne.
McDonald led St. Louis 57 points last season, not a big number. Talked about the fact the Blues are many nights offensively challenged. Well, here they've got one. And the Stars try to answer to start the second period. Play is onside apparently at the St. Louis line. Wandell comes popping out of the corner with the puck. A rip one in front. Keaton blocked it. Burrish dropping it for Steve Ott. Trying to get away. Centered it. Burrish went to the net and pushed it wide. Trevor Daley scampering deep. Wandell. Daley. Ott to Burrish and then back again, but the Blues defend that. And it's the Stars. Some early attack time here in the St. Louis zone.
Let's see what Mark Crawford does with the rest of his lines, because he's got Wandell out here where Jamie Benn was.
Shot was hampered, an off-speeder came from Pietrangelo and gave Kari Lehtinen more trouble than it should have.
Well, went off his own defenseman, too.
Backus, Brewer, and no, it squeaked out. Came back in offside.
The one at the other end looked more offside than that one did when Wandell went in. Yeah, this just looks like, nothing. It's just a little shot. Frightening development, 4 feet in front of Kari Lehtinen. Squeezed the pillows and kept it in. Good first shift of the period by Ott and company, and they come close. They get to the net.
Benn's up here with Ribeiro and Morrow then. Halak holds it back of his net. Ben knocked it out of midair. Wanted to push it in front for Morrow, who finds it. Pass to Ribeiro. Pietrangelo denied. McDonald waiting. They go across the ice to Brewer, and he'll send it in and send McDonald flying back there with Robida. Behind the Dallas net, it's Ribeiro. Across the ice for Robida. He'll take the St. Louis line. Couldn't squeeze past Brewer. Ben on one knee. Ribeiro sets up Morrow. Shot it. Blocked. Came right back to him. Now he threw it in front, and that's deflected away from Ben.
Good work by Big Brewer. Turn the skate sideways. Use the length of them. A little more pop, a little more passion, a little more jump out of Dallas here in the opening minutes.
Ribeiro didn't get much of that one. They roll over another change. Berglund guilty of an icing infraction.
Well, you can be guaranteed both teams had a lot to talk about between periods. The Blues would have talked about, hey, they're going to be much better than that as this moves along, but we're going to have to be better. And I'm sure the Stars got semi-tongue lashing between periods about doing more, winning more, pucks, not turning the puck over as much as they did in that opening period.
Richards wins the face-off. Niskanen shot it. Can't get it through the first wave and then goes down in a heap with Steen, the man who blocked it. Neal punched it forward. Johnson whipped it around. And Scraston's banked it toward the net. Blues are out with it. Here's Steen. The Dallas zone. That ricochets off Niskanen right to Eriksson. Step forward. Neal to Richards. Into the zone. Want to go back to Eriksson in the corner. D'Agostini gets a little bit of help along the boards. Niskanen will need some too. There's 3 Blues there, and it's Johnson coming out with the puck. Now Richards and Neal outman him. Real deal to Richards. Eriksson couldn't quite catch it in front of the net. Swinging around for Richards. Jackman reached around, and Berglund has steam breaking through center ice. He'll bank it off the boards to him. And St. Louis will take the change. So will the Stars.
Well, that's 3 lines in a row that have been able to spend some time in the St. Louis zone to start this second period. Something that didn't happen at all in the opening 20 minutes.
Got that one in all the way into Halak. And Winchester and Sotheby are going to go. Trading rights, hard rights at the line. Winchester throwing him. Now Sotheby came back with a left, and Winchester stays with the rights. And down they go.
That's an old school hockey scrap there. No tugging and pulling. No spinning and winding. Just stand, grab, tuck your chin, and start chucking. Sotheby went looking for this, I think. Tried to drive something in. Winchester, the former star, more than willing to add 5 minutes to his penalty totals, and that was old school, big boy, punch in the face contest. What a dandy.
Very good.
He scored some goals lately for them. They use him sometimes in front of the net on the power play. Sotheby back into the Stars lineup here tonight.
Both of Winchester's, as you mentioned, come in the last 4 games. Brian Sotheby, it's a goal and a helper this year. But a little life buck back into things here. Dallas with a good start to the second period, and they're going to try and keep that rolling, but another turnover at center ice.
Got to get it deep.
Boy, Witka fighting Sabatka. Doesn't happen very often. McClement pushed it around. Sabatka to the line. Koliakovo whipped it around. Siegel's waiting for it. Sabatka stapling him there, and Burish gunned it out to center ice. Here comes Ott. Weak pass is chipped ahead.
That's twice the east-west thing not working. I think that straight down, chip and go, get it deep, and then do this is going to work much better than fancy boy stuff.
Ribeiro, good work from Siegel. Pushing it back to Grossman. Robidoux wants the puck. He's got it. He shot it. Back to Ribeiro. A drive. And down to both knees. Yaroslav Halak. This week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with the Packers taking on the Falcons. Then the NFC East leading Eagles battle the Bears. Sunday at 11, it all starts with the Fox Ford NFL pregame show.
Blues went to the Cowboys game yesterday.
Yeah.
They got some love from St. Louis native Joe Buck and a little TV time.
They said they just could not believe the building.
It was nice. Buck did a little preview of the game tonight. Stars mentioned, Blues mentioned, everything. Aikman was silent and then went back to breaking down football.
See, that's not right. He's been here a ton. He used to come a lot. Boys with a shot. And Kari sends that one out of play.
Kari Lettinen's did allow 2 or less in 4 of the first 7 games this season, and only twice in the last 10. So that's ticked up a little bit. It's interesting when you look, not to get all statty here, but the Stars scored 2 or less in 7 of their last 8 games now. They're 3-3-1 in those games. So they've been able to manufacture some victories in there. The Blues are 6-1-3 when they're held to 2 goals or less.
So goaltending fairly important to the...
Well, here you are in this one tonight. How much has Jaro Halak had to do with anything that's gone on? This has been a light shooting game. He's not been called upon to do much in the heroic department as of yet, but he has handled the 6 shots the Stars have peppered him with.
Won his last 2 starts.
6-1-3 though, when you're only scoring 2, sometimes 1 goal a game.
That's heady stuff. Dallas looking to manufacture their first. We're nearing the midway point of the game. And the big line is out there. Daly finds it off the boards. Deep with it. Trangelo mauled as Neal came in, but he spun off the check, and he'll bring it forward to Steen. Alex around the boards. Boy, Witka pretty good hit there on D'Agostini. Richards gives it to Daly. Here come the Stars. Neal, perplexed by Pietrangelo there, couldn't get around him. Brewer to center ice. That hits Steen, but a late whistle, but offside nonetheless.
Stars are establishing a better forecheck here to start this second period. It's a huge part of their game when it's on. It was terrific in Ottawa the other night. They should have won that game 6-0, and instead they eked it out 2-1.
Yeah. And a lot of... He controlled that game. Here's Wandell. Kobe Peterson's stick hacked right out of his hands, and that is the smoking gun, as it were. 1-0 Blues. Dallas will try the power play again when we come back.
The Stars haven't lost in regulation in their last half dozen home games, and a big reason for it has been this sassy power play. Close to 30% is dynamite. The other part of that equation for me is they've been getting on it much more here at home than they have been on the road. They're averaging over 5 power play opportunities a game over the last 8 here at home. That's a lot.
Ribeiro wins the face-off. Richards straight away. Daly's out there with him at the blue line. Morrow's in front, and that's Jamie Benn. Daly passing it off to Benn. Down to Ribeiro. Following up Benn, put it back of the net. Morrow was open. The Blues denied that pass.
Eric Johnson.
Ribeiro again. Man shot it off the post.
That's a good play. You could see the attention that Morrow drew in front of the net by popping out, and then Ben snuck in there with a little stealth.
Sabatka giving them all kinds of problems in their own zone, and Morrow whipped it out. Ribeiro was by himself, went off his stick, and the Blues with a clear.
Look at that pressure up ice. Andy McDonald's a one-man forecheck right now.
But the game's only goal, short-handed back in the first period. And Richards got it away, but Pietrangelo hacked it off Benn's stick, and he was offside. Ribeiro knew it the second he made the pass.
Andy McDonald's the best player in the game right now, not just for the goal. Good penalty killing there. Here's that chance by the Stars. Watch Morrow 10. Once they get possession down deep, he ends up running himself into the high slot. There it goes down neat, pops himself out, draws attention. There's the backdoor play that almost converted between Ribeiro and Benn.
Mentioned all the chances Dallas had in Ottawa. Benn had several, but he couldn't hit the net. He only had one shot. But he spent this morning shooting pucks into the net. Time he was close again. 40 seconds left on the Jansen minor. Jackman slid it along, and Pietrangelo all the way to Kari. One final rush for Dallas on the power play, trying to tie the game. Richards shot, hot, tipped it, it went off Jackman. Eriksson couldn't hold it. Sabatka clears.
Well, that didn't threaten much at all. They didn't get scored on like they did on their first power play, but they need something more than that.
Daly tried a late power play surge there, walked right into Steen, lost the puck. Jansen is on, power play is over. Dallas 0 for 2, but they're in on the attack. Daly's pass out of the corner. Peterson's hopeful shot hit Johnson, and an icing call against St. Louis.
Congratulations.
Stars are going to have to find a way to punch through here. They're playing better. They seem to have their legs under them much more than they did in the opening period. Is an opportunity here on an icing, and the Blues unable to change. Stars are going to stick with the 5 that they have out here right now. One thing Mark Crawford's done a lot tonight is have 2 center icemen on the ice for a lot of defensive draws, more so than maybe a lot of games.
Well, Backus won this one from Burish. Grossman stepped up, kept Jansen away. This one's not icing. Peterson lost the centering feed. Grossman's there to clean it up. Again, it was McDonald. Wandell all the way in, shooting. It bounces harmlessly into Halak's glove.
Tommy Wandell can skate like the wind, and one thing that I've noticed this year, maybe more so than the other players that have had that same injury, is he has not lost, at least to the naked eye, a step. You know, Morrow went through it, slowed up by it. Lots of other individuals who've had that ACL surgery have been slowed up by it, but not him. The one thing maybe he's been guilty of is lots of activity and not that much accomplishment.
Yeah. You notice him out there every night. Berglund pushing it forward. D'Agostini trying to turn the corner on Strassen's nothing doing. Niskanen tapped it to Wandell, but right to Keaton. This pass to no one in particular is now played by Niskanen for Burish. Niskanen. Backhanded in. Halak back of his net. Paddled it off. Daly wanted to take a chance with D'Agostini, but puck slipped past them both. Wojciechowski out of the corner. Halak has to play that puck to the glass. Eriksson has Backus on his back. Wojciechowski shot that. Nikitin blocked it. Richards for Neal. Off a skate and wide. Eriksson. Wojciechowski shooting just off the mark.
He was wide open and for a while.
The stick-up was calling for it. Eriksson, Koliakovo shadowing him. Richards back of the net. Puck bounces off of him to Daly. Back to Richards. Neal goes to the front of the net. Puck again to Wojciechowski for a shot. That's off Halak and wide. Richards kept it in against McDonald. Here's Neal behind the goal. Nikitin chasing him. Neal goes to Wojciechowski. He'll walk it and then put it into the corner again. Daly for Richards back of the goal. Neal shot it. Save Halak. Richards. Eriksson this time. Pushed it through and another save Halak. These three finally getting something going. Centering pass to Neal was off a stick.
I don't think it's just those three. I think it's the idea that Daly's out there too.
Richards scores and it's tied at 1. Well, they just stayed after it. And Richards, team leading 11.
And his first ever against the St. Louis Blues. This is all about having a defenseman. All apologies to Wojciechowski, but Trevor Daly was a rover on this shift. And because of that, it was a kinetic, cycling shift by the Stars' top line. Multiple times it ended up on Daly's stick, either deep in the zone or elsewhere. And a perfect fadeaway snapshot by Richards to end it all. Halak was down, couldn't get up in time. Elevation, execution, equal measure. Tie hockey game.
Team leading 11th, team leading 27th point. 3-game point streak now for Richards and Eriksson with the primary helper. And Trevor Daly gets the other one at 10:53. Ribeiro's line is up. McClement spun him around. Winchester, too, was helpful there. And the Stars coming back into their own zone, force a St. Louis offside. Yep, Dallas Stars have tied it. Trevor Daly doing the work.
Just past the midway point of this one, the first of 6 straight periods between the Stars and the St. Louis Blues. Those are the 2 goal scorers, Richards and McDonald. Time for the Verizon Wireless reliable replays. We'll show you those 2 goals. Short-handed back in the first period. McDonald on the drive-by. Chops one over top of Kari Lehtinen. Only goal of the first period then just moments ago. Right spot, left shot, right-hand side, perfectly placed. Up top past Halak. And these are the 2 leading goal and point getters for the respective teams here tonight, and they've come through. McDonald, who's on a mini tear lately. Richards, who's been on a tear since the opening face-off on the season. And it just, you know, we saw it the other night, the other way around, where it was Richards to Daly and a beautiful goal in the second period. This time Daly involved in a succulent rotation of offense for Dallas that resulted in the tying goal. Tough when it's just 3 against 5 and a goalie all the time. You got to get an extra guy involved. Stars had both defensemen involved in that one.
And now the Blues, Sabatka off the faceoff win. Into the corner with Ribeiro. Snapped it back to Jackman. Got through, and Kari Lehtinen made the save. Steen poked it. Niskanen hit the linesman with the pass.
Well, you know, there have been times where the Stars look like they could use their partner on defense, and they always ask them to hustle to be available for them, and yet they throw it up into coverage up the boards, and it gets turned right back into them.
They get it in here. Ribeiro lost it. Ben worked to get it back to the line. Niskanen, a shot, save, Halak, and no rebound off that deflection. That's a nice stop.
His best of the game. Out to take that away. Niskanen with a tippable shot from the point. This line just immediately looks more dangerous with Jamie Benn instead of Siegel on it. And there's the deflection. Boy, 3 guys went to the net that time and converged on it. All 3 forwards get into the lane. All 3 forward sticks looking for it, and Brendan Morrows was the one that connected. I think Morrow's been terrific lately. You know, real authentic passion, that drive. He's getting a lot of scoring chances. Converted the other night on the game winner. There's an issue at ice level. They're gonna have one referee become a linesman. One of the linesmen got injured, and they'll go with the single referee set. Explanation to everybody about that. It's tough because, you know, you're going to have a referee raise his arm on offsides and that, and you're going to think he's telling the goaltender, just because I raised my arm doesn't mean it's going to be a penalty, so don't leave and go to the bench. Right on that face-off in neutral ice. Steve Barton under repairs.
So we have Mark Wheeler, Kelly Sutherland, and Gord Dwyer are the referees. Going old school. And in the Dallas zone, Knock turned it over. Wojciechowski mashed it ahead, and there goes Burish alone. He'll get it deep. Go after Nikitin. Stole it. Gave it to Ott. Back out to the line. Grossman fed it down the boards. It's cut off. Pass a little too far for McDonald. And Robidoux makes the turn. Burish dug it out of his skates. Hits the stripe. Tossed it in, not deep enough. Petrangelo. Backus is breaking for it. Back of the Dallas net. Kari moved it up. McDonald put it around again. Grossman in trouble with Boyes and Backus. Neal threw his legs to Richards, and here come the Stars. Brad Richards, Adam Burish. Passing to Richards. Spun it around behind. Backus up to Boyes, and the Blues get out of the jam, and they'll fire it in.
Boy, this game's turned, though, hasn't it? Yep. You can feel it. The Blues get pucks deep and then are spending no time forechecking here in the middle frame. Stars are doing all of that.
But Sabatka is in, and he ripped it off the side of the net. But I thought going to get a little icing call there with somebody coming in from behind, and now the Stars clear it. That's 12-11 Dallas. Steen evened it up, and a blocker save, Kari Lehtinen. To the line, not out. Jackman pushing it. Johnson, his shot easily knocked down by Eriksson. Here comes Sotheby digging hard to get to the corner with Johnson. Johnson took the man. Jackman the puck. And this one should die. It will. Under 6 minutes to play in the middle frame. Long pass ahead to Peterson, who makes the catch and then tries to do business against Brewer. On his backhand, he'll heave it to Niskanen for a drive. Now Sotheby, back of the net, shielding McClement from the puck. Peterson gives to Wandell. Escaping Brewer. That patented turn swing, and he couldn't get the shot away.
Got surrounded by at least 3 Blues.
He'll operate from behind the net now. Peterson goes right in front of it. Wandell crushed back there. And Pietrangelo all the way down. This will be icing against St. Louis. 5 minutes exactly remaining in the second period.
It was quite a shift by Wandell, twisting and turning and giving the Blues fits, and then finally they just had enough of them, planted them in behind the net. But when you look at it right now, 3 at times 4 lines for Dallas have played with a little more jam, much more foot speed here in this second period, and it just feels like the Blues can't catch their breath now.
Face off in the St. Louis zone to Halak's right. Clement Richards tie up. Neal rescues. Eriksson back of the net. Creeps out, gives it to Neal. Richards to Eriksson, and Brewer had position there. Winchester rumbling into the Dallas zone. Robida with stiff body check in the corner against Crombeen. Eriksson dropped it instead, and now Robida with the pass that defies all. And Eric Johnson, I think, thought it was going to be an.
Well, that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
You got one linesman off getting repairs. They might have to stay with it that way, and a little confusion. So
it is an icing. Gives us a chance to tell you the holidays are really there upon us. We have the perfect gift. Holiday hat trick $129. You get 2 tickets to 3 games for one low price. All versus original 6 opponents. Stars take on the Wings, the Rangers, and the Hawks. 214-GO-STARS or visit DallasStars.com. And there's a marvelous television commercial too that tells people about that. Yeah, it's fantastic. McDonald shot it, score! Off the face-off. A mystifying shot that somehow crept past Kari Lehtinen, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Well, the icing and then the inability to win a face-off in your own zone. Brad Richards loses this clean, and this goes off of Nick Grossman and through Kari Lehtinen. It's just a flick of the wrist. It looks like nothing. You can call it unearned if you want. Eriksson reached for it. McDonald flicked it toward the net and got rewarded. He's got a pair here tonight. All the good, and then boom.
Oh. That's his 8th. Here he comes looking for number 9, and a save Kari Lehtinen. That one he could see and was not deflected in front of him. One's deep. Morrow will beat Jackman to the puck, so Halak has to come out and play it. Jackman sent it ahead. Blues are in on the attack. Eric Johnston, wrister. That was deflected. Stayed up. Boy, Witka and boys. Now Ribeiro sneaks in for it. Right. Johnson, shot, pad save, rebound, and Sabatka puts it back of the net. Could have taken some of the air out of the Stars here. Shot blocked. Ben to center ice. He can't get it past Brewer. Porter shot it from the angle. Saved Kari Lehtinen. Morrow in there to stifle Porter. Sabatka shot from Steen up high. Steen. The line for Brewer. He's got a lot of room. He'll shoot it and bend to one knee to block it. Ribeiro tying up Steen. Now he and Morrow and Ben escape with the puck at the end of the shift. And Ben will just flick it down the boards.
Boy, the Blues right back to where they were in the first period, coming out of that offensive face-off win and goal. Back to their forecheck. They had the Stars hemmed in. So a little burst from them after they were bowed for most of this second period.
Brewer Up to Winchester. Finished him. Got the pass away. Trangelo's bid dies in Kari Lettinen's glove, but this one goes off a Dallas defenseman. Not the first time that's happened this season, and an unlucky bounce puts St. Louis up 2-1.
These are a young collection of hockey players the Blues trot out every night. 5th youngest in the league. Stars are going to see some of the younger clubs on the circuit. St. Louis tomorrow night again, and then off to Carolina and Washington next week. Stars are about average. I think they're 12th oldest team in the league, and there's not that much off by average age. Young brooms sweep clean, but the old brushes, they know every corner, Ralph.
That would be where you would hope your advantage would lie. The Young Bucks tonight have them 2-1. 2 minutes to play in the second period. Still a lot of hockey left. Kind of banged wide by Koliakovo. Nikitin. And Strastens couldn't get it past Berglund. Back out. Nikitin. Juggled. And Nikitin again. It's just fun to say. And there's Kari Lettinen.
Yeah, the youngster on their blue line, he doesn't speak a ton of English. They actually have an iPad for Nikitin, and it's got, how about technology nowadays? It has English to Russian translation.
Yeah, right.
So when they need to tell him stuff between periods, they can just translate it on an iPad. If they're trying to tell something to him right now, he's not getting it.
Big guy. There's Richards. Popped it up to center ice. Jackman intercepted it, and an awkward attack there from Boyes. Puck was in his skates. They're offside.
Well, and Richards, who was back behind the plate, attacked that entry for St. Louis. He's been good here again tonight. He was a media darling in Ontario for 2 straight games. He'd probably be happy to not talk to the media here tonight, but we're going to try to have him on after 2 periods.
Well, we're not going to ask him all those same questions.
No.
You're not going to,
No, I'm not.
You're not going to do that.
No, I'm not.
No.
This thing has been a series of icings and offsides for a while. We've got both linesmen back in the game, by the way, too. So
here we go.
Back to the full complement of zebras at ice level.
There should be no more confusement then. Jackman almost gave it away to Neal. Flipped it to the Dallas line. Grossman through the middle of the ice. Backus reinstalling for St. Louis. 65 seconds left in the second period, and it shoots ahead to Neal. He'll give it to Richards. Take the line. Buy some time. Drop to Grossman for a shot that's off the mark. McDonald. Neal lifted his stick. They stole it. Richards back around behind the net. Richards has Neal in front, banks it out to Robida at the line, walked it to the middle, bounces it in front. Erickson spun, can't fire it, and I think that's Neal. It is.
And that's coverage. You know, the puck sat there. It felt like, I'm sure to most of the guys at ice level, as an eternity, and they couldn't get to it. Watch this boxing out by St. Louis. It's not a real pepper shot. Stops in there. Jackman's got his guy. Neal tries to go to the net. Andy McDonald, who's been fabulous tonight, the forward, sees him, boxes him out, makes sure he's not gobbling up that rebound. How about his 200-foot game here tonight? 2 goals and then that defensive play.
Ribeiro won the faceoff and then missed Trevor Daley at the line. Wojciechowski scrambles back. He'll bank it off the boards. Ben, after Pietrangelo, who shot it into the Dallas bench. That's a break for the Stars. They'll get another offensive draw here.
Well, some things working against the Stars, though. You give up a shorthanded goal, you allow the first goal, and now if they can't run something off of this and tie it up, they're going to be trailing after 2 periods. These are all strikes against your ability to win hockey games.
Ribeiro wins the faceoff. Robida tucks it down the board, puts it back in the net for Ribeiro. Stop. Delays. looks for an option, gives it to Morrow. Up and a shot, save Halak. Ribeiro crashing, gets loose in the blue. And they were hungry for that, but the Blues are somehow able to hold the line.
This is what they need. You know, Halak's going to lead pucks in and around him. The question is always whether you can attach a machete or a bayonet to your stick so that you can get through the defenses. That's what they were looking at. Ben in front, coverage on him though as Steen had him. Finally Morrow got in there. He'd had enough of McClement. Shoved him out of the way on the tail end. That is going hard to the net.
Yeah.
You know, the day offense is nice. It looks pretty. It's wonderful for us to call, but the majority of goals in this league, and especially off the stick of that man, are scored in that fashion.
Ribeiro does not win this one. He had won 2 in a row. Johnson peels away from the pressure, walked right into Ribeiro. Loose in the corner, and fed ahead, and St. Louis will take a 2-1 lead to the break as Robida finishes Steen, and then Brewer has Ott in front of the Dallas bench.
Everybody might end up going here.
And they got, in Kari's zone, they got 6 or 8 of them. You got Ott, Brewer right in front of the Dallas bench.
He gives away a lot of reach.
Yeah. Ott hanging in there, trying to get in tight. Brewer swung and missed over the top. Ott with a body shot. And then he came up with a left. And another one from Ott. Brewer coming back, but not making much contact.
Well, they're going to get 15 minutes to recover from this.
Brewer threw a couple of hard rights there, and Ott came back with one.
Look at Burris. He's got front row seats to this one and enjoying every minute of it. So 2 scraps in the second period. Sotheby early, Ott late. Now it feels like 2 teams with some dislike. They're going to play each other on back-to-back nights. The hit on Steen late in the period as the St. Louis Blues were just trying to milk out the rest of the period. And in behind all that, these two went at it, and for a while.
2-1, St. Louis through 2. Don't go anywhere. Big third ahead, and Brad Richards next with Darrell Ray. Teams' respective leading scorers, the only guys to find the net tonight. McDonald did it in the first and second. Brad Richards in between those McDonald bids. It's 2-1 St. Louis after 2.
Progressive highlights that middle period, and lots of them. This is Brian Sotheby, knowing his role. Early in the period, picks a fight with Winchester, and it was a dandy. Injected immediate energy into the building. Stars were having a pretty good start to the period anyway. They came close to getting on the board with this little dinger. That hit square on the post and then off of Halak, Ben in tight. Then it just a mauling shift by the Stars top line. Wojciechowski and Daly on the back end. The D were instrumental throughout in hemming the Blues in their own zone. On the business end, Richards. Nice alliance between Louis Eriksson and him. Stars have it knotted at 1. But on an icing call, off the face-off win by Backes, just a flick shot toward the net. It goes off Nick Grossman in front, trickles its way through Kari Lehtinen. McDonald's having a big night here tonight for the Blues. Here's the forensics on the fight at the end of the period. 1 hit by Ott on Brewer, 2 hits by Ott on Brewer. It's like a gnat. 3rd hit on Ott on Brewer. Puck long gone, Brewer didn't like it, slash. They decide to go at each other, and they went at each other for a long, long time. They were offsetting 5-minute majors because of that, the pugilism. The Stars, though, are going to start this period on a power play because Alex Steen was assessed a minor in that fracas at the other end right after he got drilled by Stefan Robida. So here's your opportunity. Pristine, gelid sheet of ice. And an extra man out there for the guys in black on Black Friday.
Yeah, and it's the 3rd power play of the night for Dallas. They're 0 for 2. The Blues have yet to get on the job, so we know what that means. And now here comes all the announcements. Richards, long pass ahead to Morrow. Dallas into the zone. Ribeiro following up. Trying to go right back to Morrow, and it bounces. Sabatka will clear it.
Well, good play by Jackman defensively to trail that shin pad and break it up. They had Johnson, the other D-man, out of position. He was hustling to get back there. Couldn't expose it.
Richards to Robidov. Walked right into Jackman. Chipped it back of the net. Johnson moved it forward, and McClement got it out.
Stars have only been able to generate 2 shots on goal in their 2 power plays so far.
Ribeiro puts this one back of the net. Jackman. Eriksson came in there to steal it. Back out to Richards. Handing it to Eriksson. Richards shot it, tipped, loose in front, and cleared to McDonald. He makes sure it gets down.
That was one solid wall that Halak put up right in the fanny of Brendan Morrow, who's in perfect position. Deflected it, but no room.
Stars again, 45 left on the power play. Neal juggled it. Nikitin, he's able to get around. Eriksson's in front and couldn't get him the puck.
Siegel out here on the power plays. Responsibility, occupy a defenseman in front of the net.
Got Pietrangelo right there, the 2 of them. Eriksson to Neal, who's on the wing. Richards moves in, and the puck is tipped before he can get it. Eriksson tripped up. Neal all the way across to Richards. Back to Eriksson. He had to turn to find it. And Nikitin there to clear it.
Lots of action, lots of movement. Unable to get a ton of shots through or even a flurry built up in and around Jaro Halak.
Penalty is over. Alex is on. Dallas 0 for 3 on the power play, and they've surrendered a shorthanded goal. And that's the difference in the game. It's 2-1 Blues. 2 and change into the 3rd period. Sotheby, Burris, Wandell in there crashing. Barrett Jackman angled it up, not out. Niskanen held his position. Wandell back of the net. He can't get away from Johnson. And then Wandell pushed out to the line. The puck further than that, back into Dallas ice. Niskanen waiting. Ribeiro will haul it. Crombeen in for a look. Niskanen sidestepping McClement. Got the pass ahead to Morrow at the line. He'll backhand it deep. Koliakovo taking the hit from Ben. Wojciechowski keeping it in at the line. Got it to Ribeiro. Shot it. Got through, and Halak the save. Morrow for Ben. Just to go after it along the boards. Picked up, and Crombeen will come ahead with Winchester to the Dallas line. They're offside there as Winchester preceded Crombeen in the puck.
Well, as we documented last period, the Stars have struggled a bit from time to time recently in scoring goals, and this doesn't help when you're up against one of the stingiest teams in the league in the St. Louis Blues. They're allowing just under 2.5 goals per game. Boston has been stellar defensively, and so is Montreal. Isn't it funny how that trade's worked out? Carey Price has been phenomenal in the pipes for them, and Halak has solidified the position in the Gateway City.
Price is the guy, and Halak here is the guy. And here's Neal. Turned it over at the line. In fact, Dallas won the game 3-2 in a shootout the last time they were here, so they only scored 2 in 60 minutes. And it was Neal and Eriksson and Richards tonight, so just the top guys. Robida trying to swing on in. Jackman took him off his skate.
Boy, that was a long way away from the puck. That used to get called every single time coming out of the lockout. I'd say they've focused on other things since.
Here's Wandell. A burst of speed, getting away from Porter. Nikitin picked his pocket. Peterson rammed into him. Burrish trying to work it out front. He does from a prone position, and the Blues find Steen at center ice. Thomas's boy with a shot pad save. Kari Lehtinen. Wandell couldn't get there at center ice, and another long burst that Lehtinen moved to the corner. 4 and change gone in the 3rd period. 2-1 St. Louis. Jamie Benn hustling after it, back of the net. Halak lost to the centering feed, and a great play by Johnson. Might have saved the game-tying goal. Trevor Daley been hopping all over the place. Gave it to Ribeiro. Daley along the boards with a little bit of room shot it. Deflected back of the net. Morrow threw his legs to Benn. Johnson up along the boards. Ribeiro can't squeak it past the big defenseman, and then he works to get it back at center ice.
Yeah, what a shift by Johnson. Saved a goal, got it out all by his lonesome. It wasn't much help from his wingers that time. He had to do it himself.
Shot in on Halak by Trevor Daley. Crombeen takes Jackman's pass. Sabatka flying into the Stars zone. Shot, save, Kari. Eriksson swung it up. Scrastons will hit Pietrangelo. Right back to Scrastons. Put it into the middle. And Sabatka again. Racing into Dallas ice. Winchester to the net, and they're going to call Scrastons. And he doesn't like the call. But, like we said.
Well, I'm sure the inclination was to look for something delinquent from a Dallas Star after 3 straight power plays for Dallas.
Dallas penalty, number 37, 2 minutes to looking.
Yeah, Winchester creates it by driving toward the net and had Scrastons in a foot race. And because of that, they're going to go on the power play. Jamie Benn's been tremendous as the first guy on the forecheck here early in the third period. Came close, hustling down that one. First man pressure and physical pressure on his earlier shift. There's Big Johnson, who's been very good in this one here again tonight. He doesn't have the stats, they're unimpressive, but everything else is with him.
First power play for St. Louis, the 23rd in the NHL, about 15%. There's Johnson walking it, firing it, diving to block it is Adam Burrish.
And the double block going there, I think it might have gone off the shin pad of Odd, who's trying to shake it off.
There's a healthy opposition power play off the board 3 of the last 4 games. And this one finds glass, and out it goes. The faceoff stays in the Dallas zone.
Well, this is an improving power play that the Blues trot out against you. You know, sometimes they put the guy, he's out here now, Winchester, they put him in front of the net. He's the guy who put him on the power play. So a big body there. Then you have Andy McDonald from one side. And a lot of times they'll throw Boys out here too, who's been quiet tonight. Get that wicked one-timer.
Boys and Berglund lead their power play with 3 goals apiece. And Dallas hustles to that one. Adam Burrish clears.
How about those two? Burrish and Ott. First they block on the initial chance shift before, and then they win this one and get it out.
Burrish to the bench. Benn on. Blues crank it around. That's Berglund. McDonald let it go to Johnson. He'll belt it, and that's deflected wide with Winchester in front. Goliakovo into the corner. McDonald setting it up. Again, Winchester right to the front of the net. Grossman hassling Berglund. Swede on Swede. Ott trying to support. Winchester takes a spill. Goes back to the line for Johnson. He'll move it across to Goliakovo, who spins away from Robidoux. Back out to Johnson. Goliakovo to Berglund. Johnson couldn't shoot it. Benn and Ott were side to shoulder,
fighting each other to block that shot.
McDonald goes to the net. Poke checked away by Grossman. 25 left on the power play. Berglund moves it out. Johnson a blast and a pad save. Kari Lettinen. Another shot from Johnson. Loose in front. Grossman to the line, not out. Johnson had it chipped away. Benn on a breakaway. Short-handed to tie the game. He thought one shoot scores. And that literally evens things up.
I just think he's been shot out of a cannon since getting moved to the wing with Ribeiro and company. He comes out, picks Johnson's pocket, and then paralyzes Halak. 1, 1, 2, 3. Big moves. The long reach and the tap in all the way around. Jaro Halak, who was fighting hard toward the forehand. What an answer goal there. Yeah, that... We'll see how my theory goes. I don't believe you win hockey games when you give up a shorthanded goal, but if you answer it, you might.
Now Ribeiro trying to pick it off at center ice. That's his 4th goal of the season. 2 power play, 1 shorthanded, 1 at even strength. So lots of different ways for the youngster to beat you. Now Boyce shot that one when Witka blocked it. Morrow pitched it ahead. Peterson to the boards. Ribeiro held up Pietrangelo. The Blues keep it in. Steen hooked it around behind. Boyce to Jackman. People in front and coming out to make the stop, Kari Lehtinen. 11:22 to play in the 3rd period. Blues almost went up by 2. Instead, it's Jamie Benn tying it shorthanded.
Stars with a pretty brassy penalty kill, and then with 6 seconds to go in it, Jamie Benn goes in all alone and ties this hockey game. This is his 100th NHL game tonight. That's his 26th goal, 52nd point. Pretty good numbers for a guy who's still feeling his way into the league. What's he going to be like when he's a half a dozen years in? He'll be a dominant guy, and it's not just the goal. I think this started with his work. A couple of shifts, first 2 shifts of the period, physical, puck pursuing, and then gets rewarded there shorthanded.
Turned 21 just before the season started. Ben did. Here's repeating, he was 129th player selected in 07. And what a find he was for the Dallas Stars. We're tied at 2. Ott rumbled toward that pocket. He centered it just behind Burish. Scrastins taps it over. Niskanen a shot and a pad save. Halak. And icing coming here against Johnson, who was really the man on that power play until Jamie Benn poke-checked it off his stick.
Yeah, 6 seconds to go and maybe a little bit of weariness and a little too casual with it, and then all of a sudden you're chasing and can't catch up to a guy who's had a little rest during that time. Now he's part of this. Same spot the Blues scored on an icing in the 2nd.
Boy, Witka slings it into the corner for Neal. Eriksson, Brewer chasing him. He taps it back out. Tough for Daly to handle it. Go off the boards and send it right back in. Dallas has not led in this game. It leads of 1-0 and 2-1, and here's a steal for Louis Eriksson. His mates are coming. Left it for Neal, who's only played with McLennan on his back with the hack it deep. Boy, Witka rams one wide. Daly, Richards let it go. McClement turned it over to Richards in the corner and then swiped it right back. And Sobotka, he'll gain the stripe and put it into the Dallas bench. Half a period to go. Stars and the Blues. It's a good one in Dallas. 2-2.
Well, in some ways you feel that it would be in the Stars' best interest to win the one here in downtown Big D tonight. They've won just 9 of 34 in the Gateway City. So go to the whip here in the 3rd and try to get this one.
The Blues have been pretty good at home this year, too.
Yeah, that's the other part of the equation. Stars have certainly played better as this thing has moved along. If they can just control Andy McDonald, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, here's Dallas's number 10, Brendan Morrow. Got the pass away and then paid for it. Ribeiro all the way in. Ben following it up. Morrow finds the zone. Robitaille's shot. Blocked. Pietrangelo ahead to center ice, and Backus. Morrow wanted a little payback there.
I love that.
Ben back of the net. Now Morrow goes after Jackman, cleaning out some room. Ben goes on top to Daly. Flushed it all the way around. Ribeiro moved it swiftly. Didn't get all the way through, and Pietrangelo It's knocked down by Steen. Got Daly to beat and Berglund coming. And a shoulder flinch of a stop by big 6'4" Kari Lehtinen.
Well, number 10 is the paladin for this team, and he showcased it on this last shift. Moves the puck and gets rocked by big Backus, and he's a big lad. Carried on, tail end of the shift, on his way back to the bench, has him lined up. Boom! Little back at you. That line has been instrumental in this thing turning around a little bit here tonight.
9 minutes left in a 2-2 game in Dallas. Koliakovo couldn't see the net, put it back around behind it. They want to change the defense pair. Daly poking it ahead.
They've had this pair out against Brad Richards as much as possible. And once again, Stars had two center icemen out there. Burris took that draw.
And
Stars wisely were jumping up to try to grab that puck, because if the puck is shot over the players' bench and into the stands, it's a minor penalty. So if you can get up and grab it, and the whole bench erupted.
Yeah.
Trying to grab this thing. This has been an ailment for the Stars this season, but Daly found the right spot and was hoping that gravity took over about mid-flight.
It did. Jackman off the face-off win blasted that right into Wandell. Now he's trying to shake him. Niskanen abrasively himself. Scrastons up and out. So it's 24-19 St. Louis. Stars 2, Blues 2. And an icing call against the Blues.
They're trying to semi-argue this one, but they're not going to win that. Other side of center ice, so all the way back down we go. And you know, one of the goals in the game has been scored this way. I think it's one of the better rules the league has implemented over. You used to be able to just ice it and then change if you wanted. It was a perfect diffuser. Now you got to stay out there if you're weary. The other team can change.
Richards digging in with McClement. Stars win the draw. Wojcicka has to chase this one though. And Eriksson couldn't combine to keep it in. Blues making some changes. Richards skating back to his own line, thrusting it between the defensemen. No icing, and Halak will tee it up for Carlo Koliakovo.
Well, that icing allowed Mark Crawford to get his top line out there against the third pair of defensemen. That didn't work out very well for the Blues in the second period.
But now there's that guy again, McDonald. Du Bois, a shot and a good stop from Lehtinen. Richards squeezing one ahead and then taking the pass from Eriksson. Into the zone, he'll skip one in, a dribbler that Halak has no problem with. Are you hungry for hockey? Get all-you-can-eat terrace seats throughout December for only $35. See the Stars take on the Caps, the Sharks, the Canadians, the Red Wings, the Canucks, and more. And you can get free hot dogs, sodas, nachos, peanuts, and popcorn. Call 214-GO-STARS or visit DallasStars.com today. Ribeiro wins the offensive draw, and then Daly and Berglund, it goes skyward into the corner. Ribeiro. Sabutka's on his back. Ribeiro in front of Ben, and a save Halak, and then Ben goes digging for it.
Morrow right there on the tail end of that. Jamie Benn's just run amok as this has moved on. Things following him around. Ribeiro with good work to gain control of that puck in the corner and then whip it to the net. Brewer was in some kind of trouble. He did a jig in front of the net after they sort of bucked a little bit, and then he lost his footing. If that thing gets loose, but it didn't. With Halak, I'd find a way to force him to play a few more pucks out of his crease. He's not a very good puck handler and fairly casual with it. And if both these coaches are wondering whether they can go with their number one guy again tomorrow night in St. Louis, this has been a pretty light activity night for Lehtinen and Halak.
Ribeiro wins it. Grossman looking for a lane, shot it. Save Halak. Ribeiro to Ben, and that one tipped. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be him, huh?
Well, it's magnetic right now. He had multiple opportunities to score in Canada's capital city the other night. He's scored a shorty here in the third period, and this one goes right off the toe of Barrett Jackman and up into the screen.
Ribeiro and Backus again. This time it's Backus. Jackman got it along. McDonald popped it into the Dallas zone. Stars immediately take over and want to go. Ribeiro knocked it deep. Morrow got there, took it away from Jackman. In front, he slid it through the blue. I don't know how Halak saw it.
He doesn't play those very well. He doesn't use his stick. Most goalies will cut that one off. He just allowed it to trickle right by his toes.
McDonald will wind it up. And away from Morrow. Grossman has him spied. McDonald shakes that. Out to the line. All the way over to Boys. And that one blocked. Bang, end of the shift. Just throw it in wide and they'll change. You could hear the crowd as soon as they saw it was 14 with the puck. 6 minutes remaining in the third period. Very entertaining hockey game tonight in all kinds of different ways. First of two. Tomorrow night these teams will play in St. Louis. Adam Bursch tied up along the wall. Keaton swings it forward. Agostini. Boy, Witka ran him off. There's Ott from center to relay it deep. Petrangelo. Steen misses. Letting back to cut it off. Crombean's coming. He'll work it up towards Strastens. Petrangelo stole it. Put it back to the net for Crombeen to McClement. Off his skate. Richards tapped it forward. Here comes Erickson. Neal. Richards 3-on-3 as they hit the St. Louis line. Neal with Petrangelo in the corner. Richards will take over back of the net. Tried to swing it out that short side, and that time Halak knocked down the centering feed. 5:03 left in regulation for the Stars and the Blues, tied at 2.
Our 4-game summary. Stars trying to keep the strong play here at home rolling. They've won 5 of the last 6. Andy McDonald's been the offensive star for the Blues. Richards with his first goal ever against the St. Louis Blues, and then Ben with the all-important shorty to answer a shorty here in the third period. Those have bookended the scoring in the game. 5 minutes into the first period, Andy McDonald starts it and then finishes it. The defenseman Petrangelo with the shot that creates the rebound. Shorthanded goal for McDonald has been brilliant here tonight. And then just a few shifts ago here in the third period, Ben Puck Jacks Johnson walks in and the one-hand step, the old UC Jokinen around him to answer the shorthanded goal. And because of that and one of McDonald's other goals and Richards' goal in the second period, we're knotted at 2.
5 minutes left in the third. Johnson comes scrambling out of there. The guy whose pocket Ben picked. Niskanen gloved it along, but McClement puts it back in the net for Crombeen. Clement, Crombeen, and Sobotka in the Dallas zone. Richards would like to go play at the other end. Johnson kept it in, and he just missed the net. Richards moving it forward, tried to hit Erickson, busting in between the St. Louis defense. Crombeen lost it at the Dallas line. And good pass ahead to Erickson. He'll take it in and then have it tapped away. Recovers the puck, gives it to Witka. Shot. That's blocked in front. Erickson toward Ribeiro as Dallas is in the midst of a change, and Robida finally jumps out. It's a 3-on-2 though. McDonald to back. It's a shot save. Kari Lettman. It's loose and skids just wide of the net. Brewer holding it in at the line. Petrangelo from the right point. Kari reaches out, stops play.
Ooh is right. They overextended a shift or got trapped, and with both wingers still on the ice and out of gas, they couldn't get all the way back, and it's Kari Lettinen to the rescue. You know, able to hit the trailer again on that one. Usually there's back pressure from a forward that extinguishes that opportunity. Backus is the trailer. Lettman makes the high save and completely lost where it was at and did a snow angel. Never a bad idea.
Pietrangelo shot that one wide off the St. Louis faceoff win. Roosevelt shot the Stars 26-21. 2-2 game. Another shot. It's blocked on its way toward the net. Pietrangelo. Morrow. Straighten him up. Robida. Long pass looking for Brendan Morrow. He'll make Halak go back and play it. Brewer turned it over. Van the move. That's their first lead of the game. It's 3-2.
And it's a complete flip-flop for what was working for the St. Louis Blues in the first period. All about forechecking. They get Halak to have to play a puck. He's not that good at it. It's a terrible interchange between Halak and his defenseman Brewer. Jamie Benn hustles after that. Spies his mate. Diving pass. You don't see too many of those. Head first across open net for Ribeiro. He probably would have put that off the post a month ago. Instead buries it. What a rally.
Ribeiro's third of the season. Ben and Morrow, I think, will each get an assist. I know Ben will, and it's 3-2, but here comes McDonald again into the Dallas zone. Loose centered shot and a save. Great stop on Koliakovo by Kari Lettman.
Right, both sides of the goal by Ribeiro. Lettman's come up with a fabulous stop.
Wandell took it back in the net. Under 3 minutes to play in the third period. Boys to center ice. Daly chopped it down. Wojciechowski. Roll it on in. Erickson will chase Brewer.
Scored by number 63.
And the Blues playing from behind for the first time tonight. Sabatka centered it. Right to Richards.
Time of the Dallas goal.
Just Ben is getting the assist. And it's cleared. Here's Wojciechowski from center ice again, and he'll toss it down the boards. 2:05 to play in the third. From glancing off Steen skates. Morrow will give him the long sheet again. Lettman back of his net. And it's past D'Agostini to center.
I like that about him. There's nothing fancy about his puck handling. Just hard and high around the glass and tough to keep in for the opposition.
90 seconds left. Halak looking to his own bench. And Ribeiro. He does that pretty well. A high toss out. Steen worked his way forward. They get it in. Halak is still in the St. Louis net. Scraston's up to Ribeiro. Tried to use the boards to get it out. Johnson centered it, and a nice play by Burris to clear. They still can't get the 25-year-old Slovak out with a minute remaining. 3-2 Dallas. Peterson going to look at Johnson. Backus threw it ahead to McDonald. He had to reach for it. They're stacked up at the line. There goes Halak. Extra attacker on and coming into the Dallas zone. They center it and miss him. Boys coming off the bench. Steen with 40 seconds left. Had to go back for it. Now a left wing pass to Sabatka. He'll fire it all the way around the boards. Ott trying to chew up some time. Grossman played it ahead. Shot by Pietrangelo. Dipped wide of the goal. McDonald missed it. Morrow banks it off the board softly toward the St. Louis net. 15 left as Petrangelo's back for it. Quick up to Sabatka at the Dallas line. They're in the zone and it's bounced into the corner. Ott will get it. Toss it around behind. Robida. He'll flick it all the way down. Be a foot race here between the clock and Pietrangelo, and he gets there in just enough time for an icing call against Dallas in one final faceoff.
And probably a timeout, I would think. you're pretty much at that point. Although a full second, and they'll have a look at the clock down there and add anything on if they have to. But if you're the Blues, you pretty much have to run a left-handed shot to take that face-off and talk it over. Well, there's no question who's the first star is going to be tonight, and it's not the goaltender. It's going to be Jamie Benn, but two crucial stops by Lehtinen. Koliakovo right after the go-ahead goal by Ribeiro, and just prior to that, they gave up that odd man rush. He came up with a couple of saves in there, and that's what he's done. That's what we talked about off the top tonight. Statistically, he might not look that marvelous, but if you sit there and you watch every game, the goaltending in general, Andrew Raycroft's been terrific when he's been asked to, but it's just the right save at the right time. And he seems to be able to come up big at key junctures of these games. Quite a rally tonight. Wow. They look dead in the first period, refound their legs, purged the tryptophan, and reunited that second line. I think that was the biggest move of the night once again. It worked the last home game against Colorado. Why not go back to it, Benn with those guys, and boom.
So Burish and Backus, and there's 1.5 seconds remaining. They got McDonald.
That's more time. He's going to try to pull this Backus is.
Steen's back there too. Burish digs in, wins the draw. McDonald's shot blocked on its way in, and they're not going to go quietly. Winchester wants a piece of somebody. He'll get his chance tomorrow night.
Robida, I think. Yeah, no kidding. They'll both board planes, fly to the Gateway City, and reconvene hostilities tomorrow night. This is quite a win, though, for Dallas. Quite a win, and they keep it rolling here at home. Everybody goes home happy, and 2 critical points.
Meanwhile, the Blues don't get even 1 point tonight, and in the way it's stacked up in the Western Conference, these are enormous. 3-2 Dallas, regulation win over the Blues. Post-game show is next.